Welcome back to Product X, where we decode the next big thing in tech and capital before it hits the mainstream. I'm Rena, and today we're diving into something that's got the entire VC community in China buzzing. A company called LiberAI just closed 4 rounds of funding in just 4 months. That's not a typo. 4 rounds. 4 months. With Sequoia, ZhenFund, and Shunwei all fighting for a piece. So what's going on? Let me bring in our guests to break it down. Vivian, want to say hi to everyone?
Hey, Rena. Hey, everyone. I'm Vivian. Been investing in AI and frontier tech for over a decade now. And honestly, I've never seen a funding pace like this in the primary market. It's pretty wild.
And Nolan, your turn.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Nolan. Spent years building large-scale systems and AI infrastructure at big tech companies. When I saw what LiberAI did with their RDT models, I had to dig into the architecture. It's genuinely impressive stuff.
So here's the question that's on everyone's mind. LiberAI's founder is Liu Songming, Post-00s, Tsinghua Grand Prize winner, student of Professor Jun Zhu. And in just a few months, top VCs have backed them through 4 consecutive rounds. Vivian, have you ever seen anything close to this? What's driving this kind of frenzied capital behavior?
Honestly, Rena, this is extremely rare. What we're seeing is essentially defensive conviction investing on steroids. The big funds aren't just betting on the team. They're betting on the timeline. See, the embodied AI window is closing fast in terms of getting in at reasonable valuations. Liu Songming has something that doesn't come around often. He's got the academic credibility and the engineering chops to actually outpace Silicon Valley. His RDT, 1B dropped a month before PI0 from the Valley Big Techs, and RDT2 did the same against Gen 0. In AI, that 1-month lead translates to a significant competitive moat. So the VCs are flooding the company with cash, not just to support growth, but to suffocate competition before it even gets a chance to breathe.
Yeah, and if I can add, from a technical standpoint, that lead isn't luck. The way they've structured the data pipeline is fundamentally different. Most robot foundation model companies are still grabbing physical data from specific robot embodiments, which is incredibly slow and expensive. LiberAI went a completely different route. They figured out how to leverage massive amounts of non-embodied human video data, things like how humans manipulate objects, and align that with physical modalities through their world model approach. That's the real moat. The funding is buying them time to execute on that technical advantage before anyone else catches up.
So it's not just about the team, it's about the data strategy. Nolan, you just hinted at it. Let's unpack this human Yumi plus world model concept. Traditional robot training relies on robot-specific physical data, right? How is LiberAI able to break that limitation?
Exactly. The old way was either let robots learn through trial and error in the real world, super expensive, or have humans manually operate robot arms to collect data. It's painfully slow. What Liu Songming did with Yumi is brilliant. They use lightweight, unobtrusive hardware to capture human hand movements, force feedback, the physics of how objects behave, all without being tied to a specific robot body. They call it native physical modality pre-training. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because Liu studied under Professor Jun Zhu, who's a legend in video generation, they applied the diffusion transformer architecture to this problem. The model essentially learns physics from massive amounts of video on the internet, how things fall, bounce, deform, and then maps that understanding onto robot motion intentions. The RDT2 model basically rehearses millions of physics scenarios in a video-based world model before the robot ever touches a real object. That's the game changer.
Right. And, from an investment angle, that engineering execution is exactly what we look for. They've vertically integrated. They build their own Yumi hardware, collect their own data, train their own foundation models. In 4 months, they went from nothing to a high-def dexterous manipulation model. That speed is incredibly valuable when you're pitching to industrial clients who need B2B solutions yesterday.
Okay, so we've got the capital strategy and the technical breakthrough. But here's the big question. What's the commercial endgame? LiberAI is going after high-def dexterous manipulation. That's basically the holy grail of embodied AI. What's standing in their way?
The sim-to-real gap. No matter how good the video world model gets, there's always a discrepancy between simulation and actual physical hardware. Human hands have an incredible range of motion and force control. Transferring that to a robot hand with different degrees of freedom, different motors, different kinematics, it's insanely hard. They need to achieve near-perfect precision in the real world, and one mistake on a production line can shut down an entire operation. That's the battle they're fighting at the control algorithm level right now.
And from the investment side, that's exactly the risk we're pricing in. The technology is impressive, but the commercialization path in non-standard industrial environments is treacherous. They need to prove they can deploy at scale without catastrophic failures. That's why you'll see strategic investors pushing for partnerships with industrial players early. They want to de-risk that deployment cycle as quickly as possible.
So we're looking at a company that's technically ahead, but faces real-world deployment challenges. Given all of this, Vivian, if you had to sum up what's happening in the embodied AI track in one sentence, what would it be?
The window for entry is closing fast, the technical moats are real, and whoever solves the sim-to-real problem first will own the entire industry.
Nolan?
We're watching the birth of a new paradigm in robot foundation models. The video-to-physics approach is going to redefine what's possible in embodied AI within the next 2 to 3 years.
That sets the stage perfectly. Let's do our lightning round. Quick fire questions, quick answers. First one. Most overhyped AI trend right now?
Pure language model wrappers without real data moats.
Anything labeled agent that doesn't actually understand physical causality.
Best piece of advice for founders raising in this environment?
Show velocity. Capital wants to see you're moving faster than the competition. Not just that you have good ideas.
Build your data pipeline first. Everything else is downstream.
If you could have dinner with any tech founder, dead or alive?
Jensen Huang. The man built an entire ecosystem from scratch.
I'd say Musk, just to see how his brain processes risk differently.
Last one bold prediction for embodied AI in 2026.
We'll see the first billion-dollar acquisition in the space.
We'll see a major generalist player explicitly pivot to physical modality pre-training.
Love it. Well, that's our show for today. Vivian, Nolan, thanks for coming on and breaking this down with me. And thanks to all of you for tuning into Product X. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on frontier tech and capital trends, hit like and subscribe. See you next time.